y'all? It's me, Ryan the Mountain Man, and today it's time to do another episode recap for the Sons of Appalachia. This time for the 5th episode, where the damn rogue team rises again, and Buck finally confronts the Cherokee Devil and puts a rest to that hunch. So yeah, it was a great episode. It's only like 33 minutes and 10 seconds, actually down to the second. I remember that because I just watched it not very long. It was actually the other day. I had to clear my head. I needed that chicken, and then I had to go to bed, and then it was late when that episode came out. So yeah, either way, I'm all refreshed now. I have a fresh mind, ready to think about this new episode. Let's recap it, break it down. Starting off with how it started, it tells us, unfortunately, the footage that we never got to see, like after what we saw with the Cherokee Devil, it did get corrupted. So probably some sort of like supernatural element, I don't know, somehow like got into the camera and messed things around, and then it just kind of corrupted it. I guess that's what I would assume happened. But either way, we don't have any more footage that, we only have the footage that we saw last time of the Cherokee Devil. So it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, it did get corrupted. So what are you going to do? Either way, though, Buck's kind of, a little bit scared about his encounter. So he goes to tell Huck and Bill the next day. He said that he heard breathing and he could sense the Cherokee Devil's presence. One thing, though, I'm not really 100% sure why he didn't just show them the footage that we do have. I mean, it's in the episode. Clearly, they've seen it because I'm sure they watched their own show. Well, I'm just saying, why didn't he show them that? I don't know. It didn't really make a ton of sense to me. But either way, he says that, he was just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like what happened with him before, like in the past episodes of the Sons of Appalachia, where he just kind of goes, blank, and then he just kind of like, they find him later just in the woods. That's kind of what happened again. He says that he blinked and then he just kind of woke up on the ground. His camera's out of battery and he had a bloody nose. And that's something that I didn't even realize about the last episode at the end when I did my reaction and recap. I didn't even realize it at all, but you can see Buck had a bloody nose. There's blood coming out of his nose, and yeah, it was all over the place. I don't really know how I didn't see it, but I clearly wasn't watching hard enough, even though I feel like I was. I watched the episode a few times now. But yeah, either way, there wasn't really a big thing in this episode. He brought it up that his nose was bleeding, and Huckleberry looked up his nose to try to see if there was any blood skull in there, like, remember Jeff had that happen to him before in the Dark Forest. But yeah, same thing didn't happen with Buck. There was nothing up there. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that wasn't a big deal. I don't know why his nose was bleeding, but clearly it wasn't a big plot point for this episode because nothing really came of that. But either way, unfortunately, Buck has some bad news. Oh, it's kind of good news, but also bad news. He tells Huck and Bill that fortunately he called his uncle. He has a clearer headspace now because he knows what he needs to do to kind of like get rid of this Cherokee Devil. He has this whole ritual that he's going to partake in, and unfortunately, this is the bad part, he must do it alone. And Huckleberry and Bill, they do not approve of this. They're like, hell to the no. We ain't gonna let you do that, Buckaroo. But unfortunately, Buck's very bullheaded, and he's like, I have to do it. Trust me, I'm not just being selfish. I really do need to do this. I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the whole team. We need to get this Cherokee Devil off our backs. And he's very connected to me for some reason, so I have to do this. So Huckleberry's like, you know what? Do what you gotta do, Buck. Head on out there into the woods and do it and get it done. But he actually has this plan brewing in his head, and he tells Bill later. They end up actually sneaking out there, but they have this whole plan in place. So they end up sneaking out there to go and kind of like spy on him. But I don't know. Either way, it's kind of weird because Buck heads on out, and she's like, well, he tells the camera. This is actually a nice scene. I like this part a lot. He talks about his faith in God, and that's something I wasn't even expecting. I don't even know if any of these team members were even Christian. Like me, but I'm really happy that they are. It's nice to know that finally. I always figured it, especially with Trapper, but I knew it. Actually, I did know that about Jeff because he always wore his cross. But yeah, I don't know. It was nice to see that with Buck too. Him being the youngest member on the team, very nice to see because usually you don't see that as much with younger people these days. But yeah, it was nice to see. He talked about his faith, and he's like, I really, honestly, for once, feel at peace, and I don't feel afraid to go after this damn Cherokee Devil, because you know what? I have God on my side. And I thought that was a really nice scene. It was really nice to hear that because I don't think they would have been able to really delve into detail about that or really say that at all in Mountain Monsters because, it's ran by a big network, of course. Sons of Appalachia, it's a YouTube channel. They can say what they want, and I mean, they'll get canceled if they say if they say anything that they don't want them to say, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it was just nice to see. Anyways, Buck heads out. He's supposed to go into the damn little red shed, and he's like, "What the hell is that over there?" And turns out it's Wild Bill and Huckleberry. And I thought this was gonna be a big deal. I thought he was gonna be like, "Y'all can't be out here. Like, I need to do this alone." Because like he's done rituals involving the Cherokee Devil before, and he had to be by himself. Remember that the first time they went after him, he went out there alone and he defeated him. And I don't know. I guess it wasn't really a big deal this time. The Cherokee Devil just didn't really care. Because Buck just goes into the shed and he's like, okay, you don't want to stay out here. Go keep watch then. But yeah, he has all these things and he sets up for the ritual. He has a bird of prey, local creek water, sage, and a handmade hunting knife. And he kind of has to put it all into like different directions, every which way. And eventually he gets it. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool to see the little red shed again, though. It really is cool because you can actually see the spot where Buck dug up the twisted torch in the ground. You can see the hole in the flooring, which is pretty darn cool just to see these, like we saw the red shed in the last episode, but it was cool to actually see more into detail into it because they didn't really go in it last time. And you could also, I guess, see drawings on the wall, but I really couldn't see them. I don't know. Buck said you can kind of faintly see them. I really couldn't. If you could, let me know in the comments. But anyways, yeah, everything had to be in a certain spot. And he starts reading to the Cherokee Devil. It's almost like a poem or a prayer of sorts. It sounded more like a prayer to me, which was nice because he was using his faith to get rid of the devil, the Cherokee Devil, of course, this damn evil Bigfoot. And it actually, well, spoiler alert, it works. But yeah, we won't get there just yet because some crazy things happen in the woods before that ends up happening. Because, of course, Huckleberry and Bill are out there in the woods trying to keep watch for Buckaroo. And Huck's hearing, the witch's bell ringing like crazy. Bill sees this cloaked figure. He runs after it. He ends up tripping. He falls and he damages his microphone. Come here, Buck! Damn Wild Bill. He's always breaking stuff. And this time he actually broke not only the microphone, but also possibly his rib. But Huckleberry, he has quite the little encounter too. He doesn't really get to see the witch, but the damn witch actually takes off his hat and steals it. And yeah, I don't know. So crazy things were happening with them. Some crazy things were happening in the little red shed with Buckaroo too. He was just hearing scratches and bangs, all kinds of sounds coming from the outside of it, just snarling at the walls. And I was like, the Cherokee Devil's trying to get in, but I don't know why I didn't just use the damn door or the window. There's two big openings, but whatever. I think he was just trying to taunt Buck, but he didn't actually want to show himself, because that's the thing. Bigfoots don't want to show themselves. You know what I mean? Maybe if you're in a Bigfoot trance, then they will, but no, they don't typically want to show themselves to people, of course. But yeah, anyways, he ends up raiding the whole thing, and a nice amen at the end. And the Cherokee Devil actually leaves. He actually leaves Buck alone. And Buck, for once, is actually happy that this hunt, it's actually finally over. They all reunite at the end, and yeah. I mean, Buckaroo's kind of questioning what the hell happened to Huck and Bill. Huck's hat's missing. Bill's all torn up. Huckleberry actually twisted his ankle, too. And so, yeah, they're just not in the best of shape. So, luckily, Buckaroo's like, hey, well, I completed this hunt, so we can just go back home. And yeah, they end up leaving. They go back to Buck's truck, and as they're leaving, you can actually see something in the background. I think it's the witch. I'm pretty darn positive because the hair looks the same, but at first I thought it was some sort of Native American chief or something, but I'm not 100% sure what was going on with that. If you know exactly what that was, let me know. It's probably the witch, but I wasn't really sure on that, so I don't want to say it was a witch 100% because it's dark. Everything looks shadowy. It's just kind of hard to see things in great detail. But anyways, they're going back to the truck, and once again, Buck's truck was targeted. It always is, never fails. The lights are on, the door's wide open, and Buck runs on in there, and he's like, what the hell? Huckleberry, it's her hat. And he picks up the hat and he's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for my hat. I like my hat. I put my hat on. And yeah, Buckaroo, he ends up finding also in the truck a note underneath the hat with an SD card attached to it. But they're like, wait a second, where the hell's the box? The box is gone, but for some reason the book is still there. Now, I don't know where the hell Wild Bill actually grabbed this book from, but he found the book, the journal, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know where he found it from. Like, you don't see him going into the truck, he just seems to find it on the ground, I guess. I don't know. I think it's implied that when whoever, I won't say it yet, whoever took the box, they must have dropped the book out of the box, but you think they would have been more careful than that. I don't know. But either way, let's get to the little riddle note now. Buck reads it aloud. It says 13th Dominion. And 13 always seen as kind of a devilish number, I think. I'm not really sure why, but I think it is, right? And then Dominion kind of means like power over nature. That's what I always thought it meant. I looked it up years ago when Jurassic World Dominion was announced because I was wondering what the hell the title meant. But I think it just means powerful in general. So they're like a powerful force, devilish force, like that you don't want to mess with. Whoever this is, we'll get to that right now as I read aloud the riddle that they send. I mean, they're sending riddles. I think you already know who the hell it is, especially, we already talked about who has risen. We'll get to that in a second. I don't want to spoil anything. They said the hunt ended long ago, but legends don't sleep beneath the snow. The echoes of Trapper still stirs the trees. His voice rides low on a mountain breeze. The hills remember the steps he tread, the paths he marked, the blood he bled. A watcher, a warrior, a man of the fight. Now whispers guide Buck through the dead of the night. The ground is cold, but the truth runs deep. In shadows where ancient secrets sleep. Not all graves are filled with bones. Some guard the power to shake the known. The rogue have risen, cloaked in ash, chanting riddles in a tongue of wrath. A cult reborn of death and flame. 13th Dominion, by blood, by name. They warned us softly with steel and flame. You are never alone in the monster game. A war begun when Trapper stood tall. Now Buck must rise, or they all will fall. He digs where Trapper marked the earth, where legacy waits in the soil of birth. The box is more than wood and rust. It carries fate in broken trust. To light the flame and draw your line, the woods grow colder with each breath, and shadows whisper, memento mori, welcome death. That last part threw me off. It didn't really rhyme. I guess it was like two sentences in one, I guess. I don't know. Either way, that was quite the little riddle note. But after that, this is even scarier. Buck decides they're going to watch the little video that they attached onto this SD card. They use a computer and they end up watching it. And my goodness, is it scary or what? The damn Rogue team, like immediately, they show their new logo, their new name, 13th Dominion. Very scary. It's like an 8-symboled star, and it's a skeleton in the dead center of it. Very, very scary, if you ask me. And, well, there's just so much information in this. They tell us right out the bat that the Rogue team from before were hired hands to do work for us, but they failed to get the job done. And they thought that the team was done, but then they decided to bring it back out of the ash, and they said they're going to burn it forever. So, like, what in the hell? That's just scarier than anything I could have ever imagined happen with this show. I never thought that the Rogue team would be back. And, I mean, y'all saw them. They look scarier than ever. There's like 1 million of them standing around the fire. All these Rogue team members. They're just in these black, like, uniforms, and they're just very scary. They got these giant rifles. Like, what the hell? I don't think, honestly, the 3 SOA guys really stand a chance. I mean, I'm actually worried for them now. They're going to be going out into the woods with these guys, hunting them. Damn, that's scary as hell. I just never thought that if they ever came back one day, the Rogue team, that they would be, like, stronger than ever. Like, those guys from before, like, they were knuckleheads, and, they're scary, but honestly, what did they really do? Like, they kidnapped Jeff Rowe and Buck, and they kidnapped quite a few of them, right? And I mean, they're scary, but it was a different kind of scare. It was more like almost like a comical villain, like from like Scooby-Doo or something, like, you take off the mask at the end, but that didn't happen. But I'm just saying, like, they weren't as scary as these guys. These guys actually look like your villains in a horror movie or something, like I'm actually scared for their safety now in the next episodes to come. But anyways, they end up showing them on the video, like they're holding the Find Gus and Dig sign, and they're like, does this look familiar? So obviously they're the ones that set up this entire hunt from the beginning. You can see one of the rogue team members picking up the camera that Buck left in the woods in that one episode. You can see them following his truck. I'm not sure where they're following it to, but probably to the red shed, I'd assume, like to their base camp area. That would make sense. And then they said that we got the box, but the book was missing. Now, this part honestly didn't make all that much sense to me. Because, okay, so they said that they stole the box. In this video, they stole the box, but the book was missing. But how would they have had time? So they went into Buck's truck that night. They're only out there in the woods a couple of hours, like not that long. Even if they're out there 10 hours, it still would have been, it still would have not been enough time, I feel like. They would have had to steal that box, go back home, realize the book is missing, make this entire video, edit it all, put it together, and then put it on an SD card, write this entire note, and then put it on the note all the way back to the woods, put it in Buck's truck. That part just didn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, they must be like sonic super speed. I don't know. But they did it very fast. I don't know. It just didn't make a ton of sense to me. But yeah, either way, that's what they said. And it says that Trapper stole this book. That's why it's so important. He stole it back in the day from the witch. So Trapper stole this book from the witch. What in the world? What groundbreaking news. So Trapper knew about this witch. Surprisingly, he never talked about it to the team while he was alive. But she still has the spear finger that they seek. So they still want that spear finger. They're still after the spear finger, the physical finger, the claw of the spear finger, not the actual creature itself. That creature is dead. But they tried to burn the book, but it just would not burn, apparently they said. And that's pretty much the last thing they said. Probably the most important thing of this entire episode. They said that they collect things for some high-end clients, and they have been doing this for a long time. And the Stonish Giant was actually collected by them. What? Like, they just threw that in there so, like, nonchalantly at the end, like, we killed the Stonish Giant for our client long ago. But it's like, what? That's been like a question been on everybody's minds forever. We've always wanted to know what the hell happened with the Stonish Giant. Like, who killed it? Why did they? They just took it off into the woods at night. That was like one of the scariest scenes ever. Like, the AIM team was so close to catching that Bigfoot, and then it's like this other team just randomly comes out of nowhere and just like kills it and takes it away. And they just admitted it, just like nonchalantly in this little video that they attached to a note. It's just like so shocking. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. But anyways, they end off this little video message by saying that we are not myth, we are not rogue, but an ancient path. Memento mori is our only law. See you soon. And memento mori, if you don't know, it essentially just kind of means like to embrace death, I guess. And I don't know, it's just like an evil message towards the team. So yeah, definitely an unsettling thing to hear in the dead of the night after you think that you just got the devil away from you as far as possible. Now it's like, oh no, some more devils are coming in. It's like, oh, what the hell. All types of bad things are happening to the old SOA team. But yeah, honestly, they didn't seem very fazed by it. I gotta be honest, I didn't think they seemed very afraid. But maybe that's because Buckaroo, the other two, they just had enough already. But Buckaroo's like, he feels at peace. He feels good inside. And yeah, I guess he was just like, whatever, the mountains throw at us next, I guess we'll just have to take it. And that's exactly what they're going to do in the next episode. I can't wait for it. Now they're on the hunt for the rogue team again, but they're not really the rogue team anymore. We can't really call them that. I think they don't like it when we call them that, when the Ames team would call them that. I don't think they like that at all, because they kind of say it like we are not rogue. we are 13th Dominion, so they have a real name, and this is technically different people that they're going to be hunting. This new team, it is still a rogue team, but it's not technically the rogue team. That was never their official name. I used to think that, but like rogue just means like they're gone rogue, like they're just this opponent team, I guess. Their name we thought was always Sequad, but they never really come out and say like their real name, did they? I don't think they ever really said their official name. Maybe the old team was Sequad, but now this is like new guys hired. Like they didn't get the job done for us, so it's been 6 years, so they probably moved on, doing work for other bad people, I guess. But now they hired a new team. There's a lot more of them. It looked like at least 10 of them in that one clip where they're all standing around the fire. And yeah, I mean, they just look scarier than ever. Their guns are huge, much bigger than the old SOA team's guns. So I'm worried for their safety, but hopefully everything turns out good in the next episode of the damn Sons of Appalachia. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below of this episode. If I had to rate it, it wasn't very long, but all the groundbreaking information that just got told to us in the end, I think definitely earns it some extra stars. I'd give it like a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think would be a good rating for it. It was definitely a good action-packed episode. A little slow, at the start, but it got going, and then once it did, it's like it was an amazing episode. It was pretty darn cool to see the rogue teams back. New team members, but still, albeit still a rogue team. So, anyways, yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank y'all for watching this extra long recap. It was not a very long episode, but just a lot of information in, so that's why this is so long, but I hope y'all enjoyed. I think y'all like the longer videos. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next time on the Old Mountain Man. Hoorah! I'm going to catch some monsters and rogue team members.